Welcome back to The Great Expanse by John Bet 426 here on YouTube. I'm so glad to be back before you guys to give you guys another video. You know what I mean? Because I appreciate doing these things. And I don't know if this will show up because I am in front of a green screen. So hopefully it will. If it doesn't, I'll be good. If you like the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. All, not personalized or the one underneath, but all. So the next time a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it first. I'm Rap Champ. That's me. Alright, so we've got some James Gunn news. James Gunn, filmmaker. He is responsible for the Guardians of the Galaxy seeing the light of day and being sort of a blockbuster franchise within the MCU. He did The Suicide Squad, which was the zany version with John Cena as the Peacemaker. And from that movie, John Cena was the star of the Peacemaker series that came on HBO Max, now just Max. My favorite movie by James Gunn has nothing to do with Marvel or DC. It's called Brightburn. That's my favorite James Gunn movie, Brightburn. And if you haven't seen it, I would strongly suggest you see it. Okay? But James Gunn was hired late last year, along with Peter Safran, to be the CEOs of DC Studios, which was formerly DC Films. And we've done several videos about James Gunn taking over in January on, I think, the 31st, the very last day of the month of January. He announced the partial slate of Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. So there's a lot of excitement for DC right now. And let's hear what James Gunn has to say about whatever. Okay? And the website is MovieWeb. The headline, James Gunn says traditional heroes and fictional cities will set DCU apart from the MCU. Interesting. Because I don't think there's any hero in DC that is from an established city. Nope. Now, I do know that Bruce Wayne's former childhood friend turned arch-villain Hush operated out of Philadelphia. But I think that's the only real city that I can think of where someone was based or acknowledged as being from. Green Lantern has, is it Coast City, I think? Hawkman has Midway City. Green Arrow famously Starling City. Star City. It was originally called Starling City in the CW's Arrow. Superman has Metropolis. Batman has Gotham City. No, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Gotham City is not a real place. In case you need to be told that. And those are the main hubs. You know, Lex Luthor is like responsible for Metropolis being the pinnacle of American cities in this fictional world of DC. So I'm glad to hear James Gunn say that. Okay, so James Gunn's DCU will be building its city on secret identities and traditional comic book heroes to set itself apart from the MCU. Before we get to the article, James Gunn, please do not fall into the trap of having your guys always taking off their masks to talk. Please don't do that. Or the little, slide up thing like, that was something else. Please don't do that. Please have my heroes in masks, wearing their masks. Unless they go home, okay? Let me get down on my soapbox, even though I love the view from my soapbox. It's fantastic. Anyway, the author is Anthony Lund, okay? James Gunn has a tough task ahead of him to bring the DCU back from the brink of disaster and make it a force to be reckoned with in the world of comic book movies and TV shows. Despite noting on multiple occasions that he does not see Marvel and DC as being in competition with each other, and they aren't, it is obvious that Gunn's new slate of movies will have to compete with the well-established continuing story of the MCU, whether he likes it or not. And it does. They have to excel. Okay? While appearing on the new edition of Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, Gunn explained in detail that he believes returning to the traditional world of hidden superheroes with secret identities and the fictional cities of DC Comics they inhabit will set the DCU apart from the MCU. And that's a great way to put it, because the fictionalized cities of the DCU really make it different and unique from Marvel. Because Marvel, they have a fictionalized country of Latveria, which Dr. Victor Von Doom rules, of Sablanova, where Silver speak correctly. Sablanova, where Silver Sable is from. But otherwise, all these guys are from New York. And Bruce Banner, I think, is from New Mexico somewhere. Some city in New Mexico. All right. Okay. This is an excerpt from James Gunn's interview with Michael Rosenbaum. Okay. And I will not do James Gunn's accent. Okay. If you look at the MCU, there are very few traditional superheroes. There is never a guy with a secret identity until Spider-Man in the MCU. Their Cap was turned into a soldier, or even though he wears a mask. Iron Man outed himself at the end of the first Iron Man because they don't want to deal with the whole secret identity stuff. But there's a bit more of a fantasy element to DCU because there are these larger-than-life superheroes, and for me, they're Superman and Clark Kent. They're two different characters, and you have to find a way to deal with them that's as grounded as possible within this world of DC. One of the things that I love about DC, that excites me about DC, that in a way is another alternate history. It is Gotham City and Metropolis and Star City and Bloodhaven, where Nightwing calls home now. And all these different places in this other reality, and it makes it a little bit like Westeros in some ways from A Song of Ice and Fire. I love it in that way. I love that we get to create true world building in DC. It isn't just we're throwing some superheroes on Earth. I think right now that's one of the key differences, and that's a great point, okay? James Gunn says Blue Beetle is the first new DCU superhero. Awesome. With the old DCEU giving way to the new DCU, there has been a lot of speculation over where Blue Beetle figures in the plans of James Gunn and Peter Safran. While The Flash and Aquaman have been well established in the old regime for a number of years, Blue Beetle is a completely new addition to the on-screen universe, and Gunn's recent comments have not exactly clarified things. He noted of the character, the first DCU character for sure is Blue Beetle, and the first DCU movie is Superman Legacy. That sounds pretty clear-cut to me. What this seems to suggest is that the Blue Beetle will be a character that is part of the new DCU, but because James didn't personally have a hand in the movie, then it is not officially a DCU movie. Clear as the murky conscience of a comic book anti-hero. And that's the end of that article about James Gunn. And the mention of Blue Beetle was very interesting. But to me, the meat and the potatoes was about traditional superheroes in fictional cities. I love that. Again, I don't want to see people just yanking their mask off every 5 seconds just to talk to people. That really made me mad the second time I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Yes, I managed to sit through it for a second watching because everybody else I was with wanted to see it, namely my family. But I'm like, and again, when I saw it the first time, I don't remember if it bothered me as much because I was just, kind of taking everything in. But the second time around, I was like, put your freaking mask back on. Let me calm down. Even Kang, I'm like, why are you taking this thing off? What? And then I had to remind myself, you've already seen this movie, you already know it's average. Second time around, less than average. Sorry. So that's why I usually stick with my first watch. It was average the first time. Second time, less than average. But yes, I want characters with their mask on. I want them in costume. I don't want them giving away their secrets every 5 minutes, or I don't want the male characters confiding in somebody. Kind of like Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man did with Ned. Dude, you're Spider-Man? Immediately! Oh my God. Anyway, so I believe that this does make it more fantastic. I do believe that it does set it apart from the MCU. And to me, it's easy to do. It's easy to separate the two, the MCU and the DCU. Because the MCU is kind of kiddish, is child-friendly, and DC's movies aren't really tailor-made for like a child audience of children. Especially the Suicide Squad. Are you kidding me? No way. Peacemaker, the series? Nope. So I do like that it stands apart. That doesn't mean that the DCU can't put out a child-friendly movie. Blue Beetle looks very, it looks like a general audience can consume Blue Beetle. But mostly, it's, somebody's gonna die here. You know what I mean? Like a Batman movie? Come on, that's not for children to watch. So, what do you think about the concept of traditional superheroes with secret identities in fictionalized cities? Write a comment if necessary. Write a dissertation if need be. David Brent, please let them know where their comments or their dissertations go. Thank you, sir. Do your part, and I'll do my part. So, The Great Expanse by John Bet 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.